Lemkin Solitaire and Equalizer seeders and planters offer disruptive innovation like vertical banding, dry and or liquid onboard fertilizer, and great prices. Go to lemkindemo.com for more information and to request a demo.
Well, Ag in the Classroom, a very important organization, is on a number of different fronts, has a new executive director for the national body. Ag in the Classroom Canada has announced this week they have a new executive director. It is Denise Schmidt, who joins us right now. Denise, how are we doing?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Thank you, Shaun. Thank you for having me today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, hey, well, and big congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been announced today, which, at first I was like, "Oh, April Fools, is that maybe the best day we want to announce or not?" But it's but it's fantastic. It's looking forward to new opportunities and new challenges.
Well, clearly not a joke. You are in this role.
No.
We can confirm
Yes.
that. You've got a strong background in the seed industry. Why this move now? What is it about Egg in the Classroom Canada that intrigues you?
Yeah, I think, I've always been a supporter of Egger in the Classroom Canada and all the, different provincial bodies wherever I have been and where my travels have taken me in different careers. I think I'm at a part in my career now where I'm really looking is what can I change and how can I make a contribution to ag and how can I make a contribution to the ag industry? Those that know me, I'm the one that sits at the table and tries to bring everyone together and create collaboration and try and determine, how we can do things better for the industry as a whole. And agriculture literacy is that piece where, from a personal perspective, it's just so important in my mind for the future of agriculture and for the future of our industry and for our future generations. How do we look at, engaging the youth and how do we bring that into agriculture and how do we engage the ag industry to engage with that youth so that we have a long-term feasible food system and the people that work in that system. So that really is kind of my passion in the background that I, now have the opportunity to be part of an organization that supports provincial organizations that gets to bring this to them every day. So
Well,
it's very exciting, and I'm really
you're,
excited to be here.
well, yeah, that's awesome. There is lots to be excited about. Week one, so you're just kind of dipping your toe in the
Yes,
water, so to speak.
you
But
betcha.
what are the major priorities, challenges, things that you're going to be wrapping your arms around very quickly here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great question in that we really, as a national association, are here to support provincial organizations and really get that outreach broader than the provincial organizations can do. Obviously, working with the government on a federal basis, but also trying to support them and say, how can we create programs that really can have a national reach to really support what they're doing and support teachers, support educators, and then support the provincial organizations. So, a lot of what we will focus on is really what are those resources that we can help from a national level? How can I engage industry at a national level and across Canada, not just in each province? Because a lot of times we focus just at provincial, where, it's because we live in a province and we're very passionate about what goes on there for agriculture. But we need to look at the food system as a whole. What does that look like as a whole? Because so many of us kind of focus just in our little area, but how do we engage across all of that? So I think, that's something that we work on. We've been having some fantastic priorities. Ag in the Classroom Canada has gotten, Think Ag that has been very strong over the last couple of years, where they're looking about what does careers look like in agriculture? How do we support that? Well, how do we really have career fairs? What does that look like? Because a lot of people, youth, when you think about ag, they think about agronomists, they think about farmers, they never think about somebody like you, right? You've created a niche in ag as a career as a journalist, and how do we focus on what that could be for youth in agriculture and what that could look like? So you don't have to, have grown up in ag like many of us have. It's how can we focus on those? So those priorities will continue. As you say, I've been here a week, so I'm not about to say these are what will change. This will be. It's really to support. We have some fantastic provincial organizations across the country, and how do I help enable them to do the job that they need to do, and what can I do to make their jobs easier as we look forward.
Yeah, we talked a lot about the show before about, we've sort of run the course on farm kids. We've tapped out. We've
Mhm.
exhausted that as a major source of people to work in this industry out, off the farm. And so
Yep.
in order to fill the gap that it is, if you listen or believe in some of the research that CARC has put out, we got a significant gap. And one
Yep.
of the ways that we close that gap on the amount of positions that need to be filled in the industry of agriculture is by attracting people into the industry, which we have not been very good at. Ag in the classroom is one of those key pathways, in my opinion, to close that gap.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, Shaun. I think that it's a big key, right? Is how do we create youth that are informed citizens around agriculture? How do we really get them so that they know what innovation is coming through agriculture? Because that sparks that wanting to be in careers in agriculture. And how do we teach them about our food system? And then the people that help produce those food systems, right? It's not just producers. I mean, those are a critical part, but there's so many other pieces to our food system and to agricultural literacy that if we want to have more people and have people come in the career path, we have to help them be informed. And we really have to look at how can we do that as an industry and what does that look like? And I think when people say the word ag industry, they think, about what we are as our traditional people that have been in the ag industry, right? They think about the traditional companies that have been there from, you just talk about pesticides and chemicals and fertilizers. But I think we have to think much broader around the whole industry for the whole value chain. And sometimes we don't do that when we're trying to say, here's what opportunities are out there and here's what it looks like. So those are things that, as you say, again, the classroom is starting to get very much involved in. And how do we help the provinces and how do we help the industry as a whole in create informed citizens that we look at? Because we have so many, even, I'm still in a rural community. I have children in rural community, but it is amazing to me how so many, even in rural communities, we think they know about agriculture, but there's still major gaps there. They know what they see a little bit, but not everything. And they couldn't tell you, that we produce produce in certain provinces and we do things like that. So
Hey,
so those gaps need to be closed.
let's be honest. There's gaps for people that are working in the industry on a daily basis. So
Absolutely.
let's
Yeah,
not judge
absolutely.
what others don't know, because even inside this tent, there's a lot of people running around that don't have all the answers or the information either. And another key component here as well is we have more and more people, multiple generations away from the farm.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
classroom is an opportunity for people to touch and feel and have maybe that first exposure to food production. And that's another key component of this program.
Yeah, absolutely. I think those are keys, right? We do have obviously just finished March, which is what we call our Calm March, which is, our Agricultural Literacy Month, and we try and get into the classrooms. We support all the provinces that do that. And I think so many people, that's your first experience, right? You get to see that in the classroom and you get teachers that get to feel of what it is to have agriculture and what that entails. And I think that's like still a big piece as we go forward is how do we do that on a bigger scale? We're touching thousands and thousands of students, but the reality is you say that we still have thousands and thousands more students and teachers and schools that we need to be in, and more volunteers that we need to get in front of to say, everyone thinks it's the traditional, someone who's in the seed industry, someone who's, working with dirt that needs to be there to volunteer. But it's the bankers, it's the journalists, it's all of these that need to say this is how I contribute to our food system. This is what I do, and we don't, as you said, we've not been that great at that. We tend to have a very small blinders on when it comes to that.
Is the organization getting the financial support it needs, Denise? Or is that one of is fundraising and trying to
Yes, fundraising's, yeah, that's a great question. Fundraising is one of my biggest, will be my biggest jobs as any non-profit organization right now. The funding from a federal perspective is a challenge, right? We see funding getting cut. We just today is the first day of our new fiscal year, so I'm coming in at a perfect time. We will continue to work with the federal government, and we will continue to try and get more funding. But another big part of it will be looking to funding from in the industry and from outside the industry. What does that look like? And I'm poised, my network, my connection, my years in the industry throughout the value chain. I'm fortunate enough to have a fairly large network. And so I'll be looking for other opportunities and how do we do that and unique ways, not necessarily the traditional ways. And what does that look like? So it's a big part of the role going forward, and I'm hitting the ground running and sprinting. So we'll be working on that extensively.
Great stuff. Well, Denise, congratulations on the new role, and wish you all the best there at Ag in the Classroom Canada. And thanks a lot for joining us here today.
Thank you so much, Shaun.